The most deep-rooted disease of our life is sexual desire. How to control this desire? This question is reflected in the mind of every person in every corner of the world. But due to not knowing the correct answer, this human life is spent in vain. Today's episode is a bit long, but rich enough to let you know the correct answer and method of Earth's spiritual environment. Please listen to the whole episode, as half knowledge is dangerous. If we consider lust deeply, we'll see that the real meaning of the word karma is a strong desire, which leads the human consciousness into deep darkness. And if karma is about sex, it, like a poison, destroys this human body and life. Semen is the real reservoir of the life force of this universe. Virya Shakti Asti Atah Pranakti Asti. There is Virya Shakti, therefore there is Prana Shakti or life force. One question comes to our mind when all the monks, yogis, sages, the great men of this world attain supreme knowledge after sadhana. When they become wise and celibate, do they become impotent? Otherwise, how is it possible that this intense sexual desire of body and mind is completely under their control? Another question must have come to your mind, that sex is a natural thing in our body. If this desire is a sin, then the God who made our body is a great sinner. It is because the one who creates sinful actions is also a sinner. So why should we control this sexual desire? Why should we practice celibacy? Why should we protect the semen of our body? Mahatma Gautama Buddha said many times while instructing his disciple monks, Kameshu Michakara Veramani Shikshapadam Samadhiyami. I train myself to refrain from wrongful actions regarding sensuality. We are born in a complete body. It is normal for this body to have sexual desire. Karma is not unnatural, but surrendering oneself to karma under the influence of sexual desire, having uncontrollable lustful fantasies, and having sexual relations with multiple partners, and ejaculating from the body are major sins. As a result of this karma, people can never know themselves. He cannot feel his vitality, cannot even reach the rudimentary level of spiritual consciousness, and lives a cursed life of being lazy, tired, and diseased. You only practice Vajrayana Kundalini, by which this mind will be freed from sexual desire and will be also to observe unbroken celibacy. Celibacy is very necessary in the path of meditation. The first path of Ashtanga Yoga is performing Yamadhi. It is not possible to concentrate the mind without celibacy. This principle of Mahatma Buddha is followed by all Buddhist monks even today, who believe that one drop of semen wasted is tantamount to killing the Buddha. Once at Mahatma Gautama Buddha's discourse meeting, a young man named Nikambe came and bowed to the Buddha and sat in front. At the end of the discourse, after all the disciples, monks, and townspeople had left, the Buddha saw a young man still sitting in the front seat. Mahatma Buddha said lovingly, "O young man, do you have something to say?" The young man bowed again to the Buddha and said, "O great Buddha, I have heard that you are truly wise. I have come to you with a great problem. I live in my family. I want to become celibate and have been practicing celibacy for several years. I lose it sometimes. I don't know why the body of a naked woman comes to my imagination. It's like I have killed my life force against my will in my sensuality a few times. O Gurudev, show me the path. I want to be freed from this sexual desire, to be truly virile, to be completely celibate." Mahatma smiled and said, "O young man, you first make your mind celibate. The rest will follow." The young man said, "Gurudev, I don't understand." Mahatma Buddha said, "You come tomorrow morning. I'll send you to your question. Your answer is waiting there." The young man bowed to the Buddha without understanding anything and left. Early next morning, the young man came and stood in front of Buddha. The Buddha smiled gently and said, "You go straight north from here and you will find Urandinagar. That is a prostitute village. You will stay there today. Hopefully, you will get the answer to your question." According to the words of the Buddha, the young Nikambe went to Urandinagar. While walking alone, many questions arose in his mind. Why did Mahatma Buddha send me to harlots? Why did he send me to those from whom one should always stay away? On reaching the prostitute village at noon, Nikambe sat under the shade of a tree. He saw hundreds of beautiful women sitting all around. Men of different ages came and talked to them and entered their cottages. Nikambe began to look around and see the life of that prostitute village. He felt very restless. Unknowingly, his eyes were moving toward the gestures and glances of the prostitutes. He couldn't figure out where to find the answer to his question. At that time, an elderly woman came to him and asked for help, saying, "I haven't eaten anything all day. Please help me." Nikambe was unprepared because he had nothing to help. He gave her some leftover food and said, "I have this little food. Please take it." "But why are you here? You can go to the villages and beg." In response to Nikambe's words, the woman said, "I am old, so I cannot go anywhere else, and I am one of this prostitution. Now my youth and beauty are gone, so I am lying here. Thank you for this food." Nikambe did not stop there and left straight for the Buddha. After reaching the end of the discourse meeting in the evening, he bowed to the Buddha and sat in front. Buddha said very calmly, "O young man, have you got the answer to your question?" Nikambe said, "Yes, Gurudev, I have learned today. All these lusts stay in this body for a certain period of time. They go away with time. And I understand that lusts arise from our eyes, so eyes need to be curbed." Mahatma Buddha laughed and said, "Your perception is completely wrong, but don't the people without vision have desires?" Nikambe stood with his head down. Mahatma Buddha said, "Tomorrow morning again you go to the prostitution. There is your answer." The next morning, Nikambe left for the prostitute village. He reached there at noon, throat parched by the intense heat of the sun. He began to turn here and there for some water. Beautiful harlots are standing all around, but where is the water? At last he saw some full water jugs in front of a cottage. As Nikambe approached the pitcher, a very beautiful woman came out of the cottage. Nikambe said, "Mother, give some water. My throat has become dry in the scorching sun." The woman brought a bowl of water and a few pieces of fruit with great affection. And drinking the water, Nikambe said, "Thank you, mother." The woman said to Nikambe, "This is the first time someone has called me mother. I am a prostitute by profession, so all people address me very carelessly. Please call me mother again." Nikambe saw the woman glaring at him very passionately, tears welling up in her eyes. Nikambe uttered again, "Mother." The woman hugged Nikambe with the utmost motherly affection and said, "What are you doing here in this hot sun, my son?" Nikambe said, "Mother, Mahatma Buddha has sent me here to find answers to some of my questions." The woman said, "What is that question?" Nikambe said very calmly, "I have got the answer, mother." Nikambe now touched the woman's feet and bowed. "Mother, now I understand that Lord Buddha may have sent me to you." Nikambe himself does not know why his eyes were filled with tears. In the evening discourse meeting, Nikambe bowed to Buddha and sat in front of him. Buddha said, "Dear Nikambe, you have got the answer." Nikambe said, "Yes, Gurudev. By your infinite grace, I have got the answer to my question. I understand today that it is the mind that controls our sexual desire, not the body. If this mind is made celibate, I will definitely be freed from the lust and will be eternally virile." Mahatma Buddha was listening to Nikambe with his eyes closed. The Buddha said, "Dear Nikambe, your realization today is absolutely correct. We human beings have the misconception about controlling our sexual desire to be celibate. If there is any power in this world after the spiritual power, it is the Kama Shakti or lust. So to fight against this force is absolutely wrong. We have to consider deeply the origin of this sexual desire, and lustful nature is our mind. So if one can control one's mind, then one will definitely control karma. And karma controlled means always being virile. And always being virile means eternal celibacy. Nikambe respectfully asked, Gurudev, tell me the right way to control this mind. Mahatma Buddha said, we cannot control the mind, but we can do some exercises so that this mind will naturally control itself. Practice Vajrayana Kundalini. Nikambe said, please, Gurudev, tell me about Vajrayana Kundalini. Lord Buddha said, you must not only be freed from sexual desire and lust, you must be freed from this worldly suffering and rebirth too. To practice Vajrayana Kundalini, one must follow the Eightfold Path, which consists of righteous speech, righteous action, righteous livelihood, righteous effort, right thought, right consciousness, right determination, right vision, or Shammak Samadhi. And you have to practice breathing movements and balanced diet. All these practices together are Vajrayana Kundalini. Through these practices, one can walk on the path of supreme meditation. There is no desire, there is no sorrow, there is no birth, there is no death. There is only this life force, the absolute peace of love. Nikambe bowed down to Gautama Buddha and said, O Gurudev, I am reborn today. Please give me a little space at your feet. I want to walk on the path of meditation. Dear friends, for your kind information, this young Nikambe walked on the path of supreme meditation and later became one of the Bhante monks of the Buddhist Sangha. Buddha named him Dhamma Nikambe Bhante, through which millions of people in southern China found the right direction in their lives and lived a life of absolute peace. Dhamma Nikambe Bhante is still revered as the most famous Buddhist monk in the history of China. Be sure to write in the comment box what you learned from this long episode today. Good luck to all. Thank you.